Hey there, everybody, and welcome to Protection Warrior Guide 1.5, because I forgot a critical piece of the guide when I was making it. It just totally slipped my brain, but that is Soulbinds and Soul Conduits for Protection Warrior Necrolord. It just, honestly, just slipped my brain. So we're going to get through it. This will be a little bit shorter of a guide add-on, I guess we can call it. I will put the actual guide down below. This is just meant to supplement it. But first, please like, comment, subscribe. We are well on our way to 4K. I cannot believe all the support. I'm flabbergasted. Thank you, everybody. There's a community Discord down below if you want to ask any Prot War questions. Tons of great people in there, and I'm just absolutely ecstatic to have all the people that are in there. Twitch link down below if you want to watch me stream, and as well there's a Patreon link if you wish to support me directly. So let's get into the Necrolord Soulbinds, because Necrolord really is the only play in Shadowlands Season 4 right now. The uptime on banner is incredible, and the amount of rage that you get from having a 2-minute banner is incredibly strong and is going to allow you to live. I've been testing out Kyrian a little bit, and honestly, you're so rage-starved, and it just feels bad. Necrolord really is the play. I use Plague Divisor Merilith. Unfortunately, there's not a whole lot of great potency conduits for Prot Warrior, so you're kind of having to specialize, or just kind of generalize. Adaptive Armor Fragment, really, really solid. Strength buff, you always want it. You're typically getting healed, very good. The Veteran's Repute, where Conqueror's Banner increases your strength about 278. This is 22% empowered. This is very, very strong. Having this buff up while Banner's up really helps build the playstyle. And Ashen Juggernaut. Now, Execute is very, very strong with this conduit, and I have been getting at item level 290 upwards to 45k executes, but I haven't really tested this in a high tyrannical key yet, where the boss is going to live in execute range a lot longer, allowing you to stack this up to 8 times. A lot of the DPS that I've been running with have been absolutely amazingly good blasters. Not all the pugs use all their utility, but their damage is good, so 50-50. But having this and being able to weave... So what you do with this is once you're on a boss that's in execute range, you pretty much stop using Revenge unless you get a proc, in lieu of Ashen Juggernaut of execute, because what happens is Revenge, you spend 20 rage per, execute you will use up to 40. Now you want to make sure that you do have shield block continuously rolling, which you can do through charge weaving and intervenes, which will give you more range for executes, but this will help keep your banner up a lot longer. Spending 40 rage to keep banner is a lot better than spending 20 per global. Pretty clear fact, right? Pairing this with Ravager or Last Stand in execute phase, you are going to be able to absolutely pump. And if you just want to pump, you can let shield... I wouldn't let shield block drop, but if you do shield, you can use shield wall, which you're getting under a minute now, and very, very strong. I have seen upwards to 45k crits with only 4 to 5 stacks of this. So this is definitely a good potency conduit to have in Mythic Plus, but requires you to play around it. For Endurance Conduits, Stalwart Guardian, the cooldown of Shield Wall is reduced by 44 seconds at 278 empowered. With this conduit, you're going to be able to get sub 1 minute shield walls, as long as you're keeping banner up and burning rage to keep that banner up. Unnerving Focus, this turns Last Stand into one of your best offensives. 66% increased rage generation is incredibly powerful, which is one thing that you want to stagger with Ravager and things like that, and use... don't use sparingly. Use this as an offensive. Don't use it as defensive. Use it as an offensive. And then Inspiring Presence. I'm a big fan of this one. You can also go with Disturb the Peace for more AoE stops. These are pretty much your pick, right? Because Shockwave's cooldown being reduced by 10 seconds will make it a 30-second AoE stop, which is still very, very strong in Mythic Plus, and Inspiring Presence should be your default choice for raid. So that is pretty much all I wanted to talk about here. This is the setup that I have going on. One of the reasons why I like Plague Divisor Merilith so much is you do get a nice mastery buff. You become immune to crowd control effects, and you regenerate health for 1 second or whatever, and you gain immunity to crowd control effects for 3 seconds when you're channeling Fleshcraft. This is really, really good for Prot Warrior and allows you to, you know, stand in a spot. Like, for example, in Lower Kara, when the shield slams are coming out, but you can't move because of a Sanguine, you can just hit Fleshcraft. You're immune to crowd control effects, and you can go on tanking and not get stunned or anything. There's a lot of CC effects on tanks in these Season 4 dungeons, and this is very, very strong. Kevin's Oozling, lots and lots of fun to be able to use. I mean, yeah, and we did find out that Kevin's Oozling is affected by the sleep puddles in Season 4. A little fun fact. Undulating Maneuvers is actually pretty good. While above 80% health, 5% of your damage taken is absorbed and spread out over 5 seconds. Now, Prot Warriors are actually very, very good at staying above 80% health. So this is almost always up, and I do notice this in my top 5 or 6 healing. Now, it is just a little soul conduit, like it's just part of your Soulbind, so it's not going to do an absurd amount of healing. It's not broken, but it is there and it is noticeable. So it is very, very good, and it's really what you kind of want to focus around here. And I do believe there is a mastery component, if I'm not mistaken. So if we go shield slam, you do get, yeah, the mastery, the volatile solvent. This one, yeah, there we go. You gain that buff. That's what it is there. It doesn't say mastery, but with Fleshcraft up on cooldown, you get 120 mastery, which is why I'm allowing my mastery to get a little bit lower at 20%, because Fleshcraft is almost always on cooldown for me, giving me actually 30% while I'm in dungeons, which is very, very strong. And then, of course, you use Banner for an extra 400 mastery on top of that. And boom, that goes up to 48%. Very, very strong. So those are the Soulbinds and why I chose Plate Divisor Merilith. There is a link for the actual 9.2.7 Season 4 guide for Prot Warrior. I had just forgotten to implement Soulbinds into that guide, so I'm sorry, guys. But thank you very much for watching. Have yourselves a good one, and happy tanking!